Have you ever felt like your world was slowly falling apart, but deep down, something told you not to panic? Like something sacred, though invisible, was guiding your pain, rearranging your life and asking you to let go, even when you didn't understand why. If you're a Scorpio watching this right now, this is not an accident. This is your confirmation. You are being shifted, not pushed, not punished, but elevated. Not everyone will notice it. Most people around you might say you're being distant, withdrawn, or strange. They'll say, you've changed. But what they don't realize is, you're not changing, you're transforming. And Scorpio doesn't evolve like anyone else. While others learn through comfort, you learn through collapse. While others rise by climbing, you rise by burning. You're not here to repeat life, you're here to alchemize it. What you're about to see in this video are 12 signs that the universe is not breaking you. It's breaking everything that's no longer aligned with your next level, your higher path, your divine, untouchable destiny. And each of these signs may look ordinary on the outside, but Scorpio never lives on the surface. You feel things others ignore. You sense things before they're visible. You endure things most wouldn't survive. So, if you've been feeling lost, heavy, confused, alone, let me say it clearly. This isn't the end of your story, it's the end of your old story. A more powerful version of you is waiting on the other side, but first, the universe must test if you're ready to let go of what no longer serves you. And Scorpio, that test has already begun. Now, let me show you the 12 signs. Sign 1. People are quietly leaving your life, and you're not even chasing them. You've noticed it, haven't you? People are drifting away. Conversations that once flowed now feel forced. Friendships that used to feel like home now feel like noise. And the strangest part, you don't even feel the urge to stop them. Scorpio, this isn't rejection, this is realignment. The universe is not taking people away from you. It's removing distractions from your divine path. Because the next version of your life requires a new vibration, and not everyone can rise with you. You used to fight for people, even when they disappointed you, even when they lied. You gave second chances. You held on even as your spirit whispered, let go. But now, something inside you has shifted. You're watching people leave, and instead of chasing, you're just breathing. You're at peace. And that peace, it's not numbness, it's clarity. This is one of the first signs that the universe is upgrading your life. Because Scorpio doesn't evolve by adding more, you evolve by shedding, just like your symbol, the scorpion shedding its skin. Let me share a story. There was a Scorpio woman I once knew, fierce, loyal, magnetic. She spent years building a circle of friends, always being the one to support, to listen, to give. But one year, everything changed. Suddenly, people ghosted her, one by one. No fights, kawas, no drama, just silence. And at first, it shattered her, until she realized she had outgrown their version of her. She wasn't meant to be the emotional dumpster. She wasn't meant to carry others while neglecting herself. She was meant to lead, to rise, to rebuild, not with old bricks, but with sacred fire. And when she stopped clinging, new souls appeared. Ones who didn't need fixing. Ones who saw her without projection. And most importantly, ones who walked beside her, not behind, not ahead, beside. So if you feel like the universe is subtracting people from your life, don't panic. It's not punishment, it's preparation. A higher path cannot be walked with heavy energy. And Scorpio, you are too powerful, too intuitive, and too spiritually tuned to keep carrying what's expired. Let the leaves fall. Let the noise fade. You are not alone. You are being chosen. Life lesson 1, letting go is not losing. You were never meant to keep everyone you meet. Some people are chapters, not the whole book. And Scorpio, your soul knows when a chapter has ended, even if your heart tries to hold on. Letting go doesn't mean you failed. It means you're finally respecting your own evolution. It means you're strong enough to walk away from what's familiar for the sake of what's divine. The people who leave your life now are simply clearing the space for those who truly belong in your future. So don't chase, don't beg, don't shrink. Release with grace. Because the universe never removes without a reason, it only clears when it's preparing you for something sacred. Sign number 2, the things that once excited you now feel empty. You used to light up for certain things. That favorite show, that weekend ritual, that person you thought you'd always care about. But now, it's like the spark is gone. You scroll, you stare, you try, but nothing moves you the way it used to. And you wonder, what's wrong with me? Scorpio, listen carefully. Nothing is wrong. What you're experiencing is energetic detachment. It's one of the clearest signs that the universe is weaning you off your old frequency. You're not supposed to enjoy the same pleasures anymore because your soul is craving something deeper. This isn't depression, this is preparation. You're being emptied so you can be refilled not with distractions but with purpose. And Scorpio doesn't chase shallow pleasures. You're here to find meaning in mystery, beauty in silence, and power in solitude. I once knew a Scorpio man who lived for nightlife, the lights, the people, the chaos. But one day he started leaving early, then skipping events, then choosing silence over crowds. His friends said, "You're boring now." But he wasn't bored, he was being called deeper. He didn't know it yet, but his purpose was awakening. He became a healer, a writer, a spiritual teacher. He no longer needed the noise to feel alive. So if you find yourself disconnected from what used to thrill you, don't force it. Don't fake it. The universe is unplugging you from temporary highs so you can discover eternal truth. Life lesson 2, when the world stops entertaining you, it's time to enter yourself. You were never meant to stay addicted to stimulation. You are a Scorpio, a sign ruled by transformation, not distraction. When the old joys lose their flavor, it's not failure, it's initiation. You're being called inward to rediscover what really makes your soul sing. Not for applause, not for attention, but for alignment. Don't mourn what no longer excites you. Celebrate it. Because you're not fading, you're maturing. Sign number 3, you keep seeing strange coincidences that feel like messages. Have you been noticing patterns? The same numbers, again and again. Waking up at the exact same time every night. Hearing the same phrase from different people. Seeing a specific symbol, animal, or name that follows you around. At first it feels random, but then it gets eerie, too consistent to ignore. Scorpio, you're not imagining things, you're being spoken to, but not in the language of words, in the ancient language of synchronicity. The universe doesn't shout, it whispers through symbols, signs, and patterns. And Scorpios, you were born to hear them. Your intuition is one of the strongest in the zodiac. While others dismiss the unexplained, you feel it in your bones. You see, when the universe begins to shift you into a higher life path, it starts by awakening your symbolic awareness. It opens your inner eyes before it opens outer doors. Let me share a real story. There was a Scorpio woman who kept seeing ravens everywhere, on her walks, in books, on TV, even in dreams. It unnerved her at first until she looked deeper. In many ancient traditions, ravens symbolize transformation, prophecy, and death of the old self. She realized her life was changing not outside first, but within. Soon after, she left a toxic job, began meditating, began writings, and eventually created a healing retreat center for women going through spiritual awakenings. The signs were always there, she just finally listened. So if you're noticing coincidences that feel more like winks from the universe, you're not being haunted, you're being guided. Life. Lesson 3. When the universe speaks in symbols, you must learn to listen with the soul. Logic will try to explain it away. Others will tell you you're reading too much into it. But Scorpio, you know better. You were born under the sign of secrets and symbolism. You don't live on the surface. You swim in the submerged. So don't ignore the signs, decode them, follow them. Let them guide you into what logic can't see. Because sometimes the clearest map to your destiny is written in the stars, but revealed through the whispers only you can hear. Sign number 4, you're craving more solitude. Even when you can't explain why. There was a time when being alone felt lonely. Now, it feels sacred. You're not avoiding people. You're not becoming cold. You're simply being pulled inward. Scorpio, this is not isolation. This is preparation. When the universe is moving you into a higher life path, it often begins by separating you, not as punishment, but as a way to help you hear your own soul again. You may find yourself canceling plans without guilt, spending more time in nature, closing your eyes more often than opening your phone. And others might not understand. They'll ask, why are you so distant lately? But what they don't realize is that you are not pulling away from them. You're drawing closer to yourself. You see, Scorpio transforms in stillness. The caterpillar doesn't become the butterfly in public. It does it in the dark, alone, in a cocoon. The same is true for you. I once knew a Scorpio man, brilliant, driven, always the center of the room, until one year he disappeared. No events, no texts, no updates. People thought he was breaking down, but he wasn't. He was building something no one could see yet, his spirit. He traveled to temples. He read ancient texts. He listened to his dreams. And when he returned, he didn't just come back. He ascended. He became a guide, not through charisma, but through presence, because that's what solitude gave him, not silence, but power. So if you feel like you're losing interest in being around crowds, don't fight it. The universe is calling you back to your own frequency to cleanse you of what's noisy and prepare you for what's divine. Life lesson 4, the most powerful growth happens in silence. Not everyone will understand your need to disappear, but you weren't born to be understood. You were born to be transformed. And transformation doesn't happen in chaos. It happens in stillness, in solitude, in sacred spaces where your soul can breathe freely without expectation, without performance. So take that walk alone, sit under the stars, turn off the world for a little while, because every time you enter the quiet, you return with more of your true self. Sign number 5, your dreams are becoming vivid, symbolic, and unforgettable. You're dreaming more lately, aren't you? And not just random dreams, but strange, almost cinematic experiences. Dreams that leave you waking up with goosebumps. Dreams that don't fade like usual, they linger. A snake slithers across your path, a door you can't open, a voice that speaks but doesn't have a face. You wake up breathless, wondering, what does this mean? Scorpio, don't ignore it, because when logic sleeps, the soul speaks. And for you, a sign ruled by the subconscious, dreams are not illusions, they're messages. When the universe is elevating you into a higher path, your conscious mind may not understand what's happening, but your spirit always knows. And it speaks to you in the most mystical of ways, through dreams. In ancient traditions, Scorpios were seen as dream guardians, able to decode the hidden realm, able to feel the unseen. So when your dreams become intense, symbolic, even a little frightening, that's not chaos. That's clarity filtered through the lens of transformation. Let me share something powerful. A Scorpio client of mine kept having the same dream. She was in an endless hallway of mirrors. Every door she tried was locked. But one night she stopped trying to open doors and instead shattered a mirror. Behind it was light. She realized her life was stuck in reflection, not action. She was looking back too much, analyzing too deeply, afraid to move forward. The dream wasn't just imagery, it was instruction. After that, she left an old relationship, moved cities, and started her own business. Her higher path didn't come to her, it came through her after she listened to her dreams. So Scorpio, don't dismiss the messages you receive at night. You've been chosen to dream in code and awaken with answers. Life Lesson 5. Your dreams are sacred conversations with your future self. You weren't given these visions by accident. Your soul is reaching through the veil, trying to show you what your mind is too afraid to see. Every strange image is a symbol. Every repeating theme is a warning or a blessing. And every dream is a portal. So don't just sleep. Dream with intention. Keep a journal. Ask questions before bed. Decode what the universe is trying to tell you. Because some of the greatest revelations in your life won't come from people. They'll come from the silence of the night where only the brave dare to listen. Sign number 6. Old wounds are resurfacing. Not to haunt you, but to be healed. You thought you buried it. The betrayal, the rejection, the shame. You moved on, you built your life. You told yourself that's in the past. But lately, it's back. Out of nowhere, the memories return. A scent, a song, a sudden thought. Your chest tightens. Tears come unexpectedly. You feel 10 years younger, but not in a good way. Scorpio, this isn't regression, this is spiritual detox. When the universe is moving you toward your highest path, it will not let you carry pain that no longer belongs in your future. You cannot ascend with emotional debris. You must release it, and to release it, you must face it. And here's the truth no one wants to hear. Healing is not always gentle. Sometimes it means reliving the very moments you prayed to forget, not to suffer again, but to finally take your power back. Scorpio, your soul is deeper than most. You store emotions like locked files, but now those files are being opened. And it's not punishment, it's liberation. I once worked with a Scorpio woman who had been emotionally neglected by her parents. She grew up strong, independent on the outside. But deep down, she never felt safe enough to be soft. Years later, she began having flashbacks, nightmares, panic attacks. It terrified her. But instead of numbing it, she leaned in. Therapy, shadow work, inner child healing. She wept, she screamed, she forgave. And one day she stood in front of a mirror and whispered, "I deserve love that doesn't require armor." That moment, not a degree, not a job, not a partner, was the real beginning of her higher path. So, Scorpio, if the past is returning, let it rise, let it shake you, let it teach you. Because once you face it fully, it loses its power over you forever. Life Lesson 6. What returns from the past is not to break you, but to set you free. Healing is not about forgetting. It's about remembering without reliving. It's about returning to the wound, not to hurt again, but to pull out the blade with your own hands. You are not broken for still feeling it. You are brave for being willing to feel it. So cry if you must, scream if you need, but do not run, because every scar you touch now will become the very proof of how powerful your resurrection truly is. Sign number 7, you're suddenly losing things. Jobs, routines, roles, and it feels like chaos. The schedule that once made sense no longer works. The career you once fought for feels like a cage. The role you've played in your family, the fixer, the strong one, the silent one, suddenly feels unbearable. And what's worse, it's all unraveling at once. Scorpio, I know it feels like your life is falling apart, but what if I told you it's actually falling into place? Because when the universe shifts you onto your higher path, it doesn't start with blessings, it starts with breaking. Why? Because you cannot build a divine life on a false foundation. The title you wore with pride, the routines you relied on, the stability you clung to may have once served you, but now they limit you. And Scorpio is not meant to be limited. You are the alchemist of identity. You don't just change careers, you change dimensions. I once knew a Scorpio man who lost everything within 6 months. His job, his marriage, his apartment. Even his dog was taken in the divorce. He thought he was cursed, but he wasn't. He was being cleansed. Because beneath all the loss was a deeper truth. He had outgrown the life he created when he was still afraid. And so, life dismantled it, not to hurt him, but to set him free. Today, he leads breathwork circles in South America. He writes poetry, he lives in peace, and none of it would have happened if the universe hadn't forced his hands open and let everything fall away. So, Scorpio, if things are collapsing around you, stop trying to fix them. What looks like a breakdown is actually the beginning of your rebirth. Life Lesson 7, What You Lose Now. Maybe the very thing that was blocking your destiny, we are taught to hold on, to fight for stability, to rebuild the familiar. But Scorpio, you were never meant to live in the familiar. You were meant to evolve. Losing the life you once knew doesn't mean you've failed. It means the version of you that built it is no longer in control, your higher self is. So don't chase what's falling. Let it crumble, let it burn, because the ashes you fear today will become the wings you rise on tomorrow. Sign 8, you feel time differently, as if you're in a cocoon waiting to emerge. The days blur together, deadlines feel irrelevant, the rush of the world no longer pulls you in, and you begin to feel like you're outside of time, as if your soul has slowed down while the world spins faster and faster. Scorpio, this isn't laziness, it's not procrastination, it's preparation. You're not falling behind, you're falling deeper. Because when the universe begins to elevate a Scorpio, it disconnects them from artificial time, the kind built by calendars, clocks, and societal demands, and reconnects them to divine timing. In nature, nothing blooms 24/7. Nothing rushes to be ready. The butterfly doesn't emerge because it's Monday. It emerges when it's complete. And Scorpio, that's you right now. You're not late. You're becoming. There's a sacred pause happening inside you, a mysterious stillness. It may feel like your life is on hold, but in reality, your soul is aligning behind the scenes. I once knew a Scorpio who quit her job in a prestigious law firm, not because she had a better offer, not because she had a plan, but because her body screamed, "Stop." For 8 months, she felt lost. She didn't work, she didn't create, she didn't explain. But every day she walked to the ocean. She cried, she listened, she waited. And in that waiting, a vision was born. Today, she runs an organization helping abuse survivors reclaim their voice. And she always says, "The silence saved me. It gave me back my soul." So if you feel like you're not doing enough, if people are telling you to hustle and you feel the opposite, trust your cocoon. You're not being lazy, you're being recalibrated. Life Lesson 8, you're not running out of time. You're being retuned to the right time. Our culture worships urgency, but your spirit worships truth. And truth doesn't move on deadlines, it moves on divine alignment. You are not here to race, you are here to arrive whole, clear, and ready. So honor the pause, rest without guilt, wait without fear, because the silence you feel now is not a void, it's a sacred womb where your next life is gestating. And when the time is right, you will not just begin again, you will arrive transformed. Sign number 9, your intuition is louder than your logic, and it's often right. You can't explain it, you just know. You walk into a room and feel tension before anyone speaks. You talk to someone and sense they're lying even if they smile. You consider a decision and your stomach twists even if it looks perfect on paper. And you're asking yourself, why do I feel this way? Scorpio, because your intuition is in full activation. And that's one of the clearest signs the universe is aligning you with your higher path. You see, logic is the language of the mind, but knowing is the language of the soul. And your soul doesn't need proof, it remembers. As a Scorpio, you're ruled by Pluto, the planet of mystery, death, and rebirth. You were born to detect the unseen, to sense the unsaid, to trust what others dismiss. And now your inner voice is no longer a whisper. It's a warning, or sometimes a green light. Even if it goes against what others tell you, even if it defies what makes sense, even if you can't explain it to anyone but yourself. I once worked with a Scorpio who had an amazing job offer, double the salary, great location, dream position. Everyone told her to take it, but something inside her said no. She couldn't explain it. It made no logical sense. She turned it down. 2 months later, the company folded. Mass layoffs, legal scandals. She dodged disaster not because she was smart, but because she was spiritually aligned. So Scorpio, if your inner knowing is growing stronger, honor it. You're not imagining things, you're remembering your gift. Life lesson 9, your gut is not a guess. It's a sacred compass. You were never meant to rely solely on reason. You were born to feel truth before it's visible. And now more than ever, the universe is asking you to lean into that inner knowing, even when it makes no sense, even when others doubt you, even when fear tries to override it. Because logic can only take you where you've been before, but intuition leads you to what's never been created. So listen, follow, trust. Your intuition is not a hunch, it's your higher self pulling you toward the life your soul has already seen. Sign number 10. You're meeting new people who see you without needing to understand you. You've spent a lifetime being misunderstood, too intense, too private, too deep. You've learned to hide parts of yourself just to make others comfortable. You've smiled when you were breaking inside. You've nodded while your soul was screaming, "You don't get me." But lately, something strange is happening. You're meeting people who don't need the full explanation. They look into your eyes and see the storms you've survived without you saying a word. These aren't random encounters, they're divine appointments. Scorpio, when the universe is elevating you into your higher path, it sends you people who aren't here to complete you. They're here to mirror the truth you've buried. You'll feel it instantly. That deep recognition, that soul-level connection, like, where have you been all my life? But it's not romance, it's resonance. Because your new path requires new companions, not people who tolerate your depth, but people who thrive inside it. I once knew a Scorpio man who always felt like an alien, too sensitive, too spiritual, too aware. Then one day in a coffee shop, he randomly started talking to the woman next to him. What started as small talk turned into 3 hours of shared secrets. She was also a dreamer, also a seeker, also a Scorpio. They didn't fall in love, they became soul allies, and through her, he finally felt seen. He stopped apologizing for his intensity and started building a new life, one that matched his spirit. So if new people are entering your life right now, pay attention. They're not here to entertain you. They're here to activate you. Life. Lesson 10. Your soul tribe will know you without needing to study you. You don't need to explain your darkness to those who've been through their own. You don't need to dim your light for those who haven't found theirs yet. Scorpio, your higher path is calling, and it's calling others who've walked through fire too. These aren't just friendships, these are remembrances. So open up. Even just a little, let them in, because some of the people entering your life now aren't here for a moment, they're here for your becoming. Sign 11. Your goals are shifting. You no longer want loud success. You crave deep meaning. There was a time you wanted the world to win, to be seen, to prove them all wrong, and you did, at least on paper. The titles, the validation, the applause. But now it doesn't feel the same. The victory tastes hollow. The spotlight feels too bright. The game no longer excites you. And you wonder, what's wrong with me? The answer, Scorpio, nothing. In fact, everything is finally right. You're not losing ambition. You're just outgrowing performance-based living. You no longer want to chase goals that make your ego feel good. You want to build a life that makes your soul feel true. This is one of the clearest signs that the universe is shifting you into a higher path. When what you once called success now feels like a distraction. I knew a Scorpio woman who built a thriving corporate career. She had money, status, power, But one day, sitting in her penthouse office, she looked out at the city and cried. Not because she was sad, but because she realized, I've been climbing the wrong mountain. Within months, she left it all. She traveled. She studied herbal medicine. She opened a small healing space. No awards, no magazine features. But she felt more fulfilled than ever, because Scorpio isn't meant to play the game. You're meant to rewrite the rules. So if your ambitions are changing, don't fight it. You're not lazy, you're awakening. Life lesson 11. Real power isn't in what you chase, but in what you choose to no longer chase. The world teaches you to be loud, fast, and admired, but your soul, it longs to be aligned, peaceful, and free. Scorpio, you don't need to prove anything anymore. Not to them, not even to yourself. You've done the climb, now do the becoming. The life that truly belongs to you won't require hustle. It will require honesty. So release the need to be seen by many and move toward the path where you are known by yourself. Sign 12. You feel both terrified and excited, like you're on the edge of something sacred. There's a strange feeling building inside you. It's not fear exactly, but it feels like fear. Your chest is tight. Your thoughts are racing. You wake up in the middle of the night feeling like something is about to happen, but you don't know what. At the same time, there's excitement, like electricity under your skin, like the air before a thunderstorm. And you keep thinking something's coming. Scorpio, you're not crazy, you're correct. This feeling, this mix of fear and fire, is your soul standing at the threshold of your next life. You're about to leave behind the old you, the survivor, the people pleaser, the one who played small to feel safe, and step into the real you, the visionary, the guide, the silent force of transformation. But first, you have to cross the edge, and here's the truth. The edge is always scary. That's how you know it's real. I once knew a Scorpio who described this phase as emotional vertigo. She said, it felt like standing on the edge of a cliff in the dark, not knowing if I'd fall or fly. But I knew one thing: I couldn't go back. And that's where you are now. This final sign isn't about signs at all. It's about your decision. Will you answer the calling? Life lesson 12. The fear you feel right now isn't a warning. It's an invitation. You are not afraid because you're in danger. You're afraid because you're being reborn. Fear is the final guardian at the gates of transformation. And if you run from it, you stay the same. But if you walk through it, if you breathe through it, if you say yes while your hands are still shaking, you become not improved, not polished, but awakened. Scorpio, this is it. The old you is fading, the higher path is opening, and the universe is waiting for you to say yes. So ask yourself right now, are you ready to cross the edge? Closing, you are not being broken. Scorpio, you are being built for destiny. If you've recognized even just one of these signs, then understand this. You are not lost, you are not cursed, you are not behind. You are being called to shed your past, called to break patterns that generations before you never had the strength to, called to step into a version of yourself that is unapologetically powerful and entirely new. Scorpio, your life is not falling apart, it's falling into sacred order. The losses were lessons, the silence was sanctuary, the strange dreams, the signs, the solitude. They were all preparation, because you are not just here to survive, you are here to transform, not someday, not next year, but now. So the question is no longer, why is this happening to me? The question is, am I ready to stop resisting and finally rise? Was. And if your answer is yes, even if it's whispered, even if it's shaking, then know this. You're not stepping into a new chapter. You're stepping into a new existence. You're no longer the one who waits. You're the one who walks through fire. and emerges with wings. So go, let the people fall away, let the old goals die, let the fear rise and pass, and step into your sacred becoming. Because Scorpio, the universe isn't testing you anymore. It's trusting you with power, with purpose, with a path that only someone like you can walk. Final life wisdom: the phoenix doesn't rise because it wants to. It rises because it has no other choice. And maybe that's you right now. You're not being given an option, you're being given a truth. That you were never meant to live a small, safe, silent life. You were meant to burn. And through the ashes, you were meant to see clearly, to walk with depth, to heal with fire, to speak without noise, and to love with vision. Scorpio, you are not ascending to escape. You are ascending because the world needs you on this path. Awake, alive, and unafraid to begin again. Call to action. If this message spoke to you not just in your mind, but in your spirit, comment below with, "I'm ready for my higher path." And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the Path to Buddha Wisdom, where we don't just talk about astrology, we walk through the fires of destiny together. Your transformation has already begun. Let's rise with it.